Hey, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Creator, Ahaya Ashe Ahaya, the Creator of heaven and earth, the Holy One of Israel, the Ancient of Days, the Lord of Spirits, the God of all flesh, our Provider, our Creator, our Redeemer, our Sustainer, our Healer, our everything. So, what I wanted to bring to your attention today, what He's brought to my attention, was the New Testament it's false. False in the sense that there's mistranslations, there's misquotations from the Old Testament to the New Testament. It's just false. There's no other way to say it. So I'm going to provide you with one example today and multiple scriptures to support what is written in the text. So when Jesus says in Matthew 19, verse 17, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. So again, in the Old Testament, there's plenty of examples of good men, of good-natured men, good men in general, good in the eyes of God. There's just plenty of examples. So him making this statement, after spending over, a dedicated maybe year plus just only Old Testament, it's very clear to see what the lies are. So Ahaya, our Creator, the name that he gave Moses, he says that men can be good, they can be righteous, they can be just, they can be perfect, and they can be upright. All of that is in Old Testament, all of that is scripture. So why would people just go along with, and I understand it's because we don't spend as much time in the Old Testament as we should, or what we call the Old Testament, but Yah literally tells us time and time again that men can be all these things. The word Yashar, Israel, where we get the word Israel from, Yashar El, straight with God, upright before God. It literally means upright, good, righteous, all those things, right? So the word that Jesus uses, this word, it's agathos in the Greek. It means good, beneficial, virtuous, pleasant, like morally good, good-natured, all those things. So that's the Greek word of what Jesus used. And I just wanted to show you this word because the Hebrew word for good, it has the same exact meaning as the word that Jesus used. And in the Old Testament, that word is called Tob, T-O-W-B. It's from Strong's Concordance, 2986, I believe. Or 2896. So again, that word is Tob, and it means good, pleasant, agreeable, beneficial, best, better, bountiful, all these things, right? So it's the same exact connotation, the same exact meaning behind the word of the word that Jesus used, which was the Greek word agathos, right? So knowing that Jesus used that word agathos in Greek or Tob in Hebrew, we can now go into the Hebrew text and see how it is used in the Hebrew text. I just wanted to show you the words side by side, so you can see, this is not an opinion of mine. This is, a concordance that we can all see, use, understand, to get a deeper understanding of what these words really mean. If you really want to go further, you can just break it down yourself in the Hebrew, straight to the root of the word, because in Hebrew, essentially, what the words, how they're spelled, is what they mean. Because each letter has like a different, has multiple meanings within that letter. So whatever, how the word is spelled is exactly what the word means. Continuing. But I'm sorry, before I go put the scriptures in front of you, I just wanted to show you this one last word. It's Yashar. It's where we get the word Israel from. It means upright, righteous, straight. So the name of the nation was Yashar El, straight before God, upright before God, righteous before God. That was the whole purpose of the nation, right? And again, I know we fell. Not everybody was upright, and the Bible gives plenty of highlights of what not to do, right? It's a book of kind of examples, but it's also a book of what not to do. Even our kings, there's so many different examples of people that fell. But where David got it right, King David got it right, is he wasn't upright, but he didn't blame others. He didn't blame others like Adam and Eve. He took full accountability for his shortcomings, and he prayed about it. And that's what Yah is looking for. He's looking for us to take our accountability, of whatever shortcomings we have, so we can come back into his good graces, know what we did wrong, don't do it again, be fully repentant. That's what he's looking for. So, when Yah's talking about a man after his own heart, he's going to sin. People, even in the new covenant, when that comes, he says, Yah tells us, even if you sin, he's going to chastise them with the chastisements of men, but he's still going to work with us. He just wants us to be upright before him, right? Fully accountable, fully committed, fully aware of our shortcomings, because we have to rely on Yah for everything. That's why he has all those names. That's why our Creator has, 50 different names and to refer to him, because whenever we need him to be, that's what he's going to be for us in that moment, to get us back in his good graces. We need him to be our strength. He'll be our strength. We need him to be our healer. He'll be our healer. We need him to be our protector. He'll be our protector. We need him to be so on and so forth. Right. So yes, the Romans, they had this character who we call Jesus Christ, which is pretty much an amalgamation of Moses, Abraham, Elijah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all these people kind of compiled into one character, Tammuz as well. And then we get this Jesus Christ character. That's what they did. You can look at all these different stories and you could very clearly see the different aspects of these guys' lives and stories that they took and put it on Jesus, right? The healing comes from Elijah. The birth story comes from Abraham. The what do you call it? The salvation story comes from Joshua. It's the same story, just repackaged and compiled into one character. That's what they did. So here are the scriptures. And this is from Proverbs 2:20, and it reads, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men and keep the path of the righteous, for thou art upright, shall live in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. So Yah is telling us that there are upright people, there are perfect people, there are good people, and they're all going to live in his land, the perfect land, the land of the upright, Yashar El, right? Upright with God, Israel, which is Nevada. So you really need to think about what you believe, what you've been exposed to, these lies that we live in. If Jesus is saying one thing, there is no man that is good, then why does it say that there are good men here in Proverbs 2:20, right? Continuing. So that lie was told to worship. That lie was told in order to get us to worship a character while ignoring the Creator. That's why they always tell us, if you're a church goer, if you go to like a Christian church, they tell you, oh, sit at Jesus' feet. What does that mean? It means read the New Testament. Because once you're so brainwashed with the New Testament, nothing is going to make sense in the Old Testament unless you stop reading the New Testament, stop watching movies, stop exposing yourself to music, stop with all of this worldly stuff, and just truly, truly, truly focus on Yah with all your heart, mind, and strength. That's the only way you come out of it. But this is literally the God of wood from the God of wood and stone. The stone one is the black stone, the thing that the Muslims worship, right? But this is the God of wood and stone that was prophesied that the Israelites would fall into worship of other nations, which is where we are at today. It was prophesied in Deuteronomy 28. So we really have to realize, what they did. And I know they did a trick, and it was handed down from generation to generation, but this is, it's right there in the text. When you read the text, compare the New Testament and what it says versus the Old Testament and what it says, and you'll come out with the same answers. Obviously with prayer as well. So in Psalm 125 verse 4, it reads, do good, O Lord, to those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. But wait, I thought Jesus said that no man is good. But it says right here in Psalm 125 that, this is a prayer asking God to do good to those that be good, right? It's right here in the text, right here. So, are you going to believe what the Romans wrote and gave you that was written in Greek? Or are you going to believe what we know to be true, which is the Tanakh, the Torah, right? I'm going to choose Yah every single time. And it takes a lot of prayer to come to this conclusion as well. But it's true, when you start looking up the origins of the New Testament, and there's no authors for it. We got Paul and a bunch of, because Matthew didn't write Matthew, Mark didn't write Mark. There's like anonymous people that put together those books, and the church kind of controlled everything, right? In the Council of Nicaea, they chose which books they were used so that we could be, they could frame our mindset a certain way. So, yeah. Another example, Proverbs 14:14, the backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man, a what man? A good man. But wait, I thought no man is good. No, it says it right here in Proverbs 14:14, a good man shall be satisfied from himself, right? So again, I'm just showing you what's been in front of us the entire time. That's why they have us start out in the New Testament. So when we read the Old Testament, we just read past it. And that's why they educate us the way they do too. You know, we don't read for understanding. We don't read to critically think. We just read to absorb information as quickly as possible and to go on to the next thing and to go on to the next answer and to go without actually thinking about what you've read. Because once you start thinking, once those light bulbs start going on inside of you, and you start questioning things, you'll be like, wait, well, over here it says this. And in the book of Samuel, it says this. And in the book of Proverbs, it says this. And in the book of Psalms, it says this. So who's right? That's why you have to really do your own due diligence, right? Study this thing out to understand what has happened. Because, you know, if you leave it up to the Christians, they're going to say they're the new Israel. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Moving on. So right here it says, for God has given to man that is good in his sight, wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God, right? So again, I thought we couldn't be good before God. That's what Jesus said, right? But it says twice right here in this verse, you're reading it right along with me, that there are people that are qualified as and classified as good before God, in the presence of God. Explain it. The way that I explain it, the way that I understand it, the way that I know it, is the New Testament is false. It's a false book. It's a well-written false book, but it's a false book. When you sit in the Old Testament for 6 months, a year, and don't even look at the New Testament, and then you go back to the New Testament, it has a different spirit about it. I promise you. Go try that. It's like two different people, two different gods, if you will, wrote that book. So, and that's from Ecclesiastes 2, verse 26. This is another example. And Achish answered and said unto David, I know that thou art good in my sight, as an angel of God. Notwithstanding the princes of the Philistines, he have said, he shall not go up with us to the battle. So this is from the book of Samuel. And when King David was running from Saul, and he's compared to an angel. That's like a really good thing, right? You would think, by King Achish of the Philistines. So why would he compare him to an angel? That's ultimate goodness, right? Just come on. I'm telling you, they lied to us. So I would say for whoever's listening to this, go look up the Piso family and what they were into. Piso. You'll be thoroughly surprised. You know, I'm not just making this stuff up. I don't pull it out of nowhere. I would also say go look at what Scripture is and what is qualified or classified as Scripture. You'll be thoroughly surprised at that as well, because Scripture is not the New Testament. If you look at a Zondervan Bible Dictionary or a concordance of any kind or anything like that, you look at the definition of Scripture, Scripture is only the Old Testament. That's literally what Scripture is, by definition. They want you to think the New Testament is Scripture, but it's not. But you have to go look up that information for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Check it out, right? Fact check me. All right, so continuing, we're going to say, and it says here, and the watchman said, methinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. And the king said, he is a good man. He's referring to his nature. He's referring to this guy's character, Ahimaaz's character. He's calling him a good man, and he bringeth good tidings, right? Again, I want to show you multiple times, and these people were family, extended family, Like they knew each other. They knew each other's character. They would celebrate with each other. They would feast with each other. They would festival with each other. They would, all those celebrations they would do with each other. They knew each other. So he's judging him. He's saying he's a good man, and he's coming with good news. I just want y'all to see, it's not 2 Samuel 18:27. It's the same word, the word Tob, right? Talking about his character in the same sense that Jesus was talking about being a good man. Continuing, this reads, that thou may walkest in the way of good men and keepeth the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. And that's from Proverbs 2:20. I think we went over that one already, but I'll leave it here just to hammer home the point of being good. Like it's right here. It's all over the Bible. It's literally all over. Excuse me, not the Bible. The Tanakh, the Torah. Right? The qualification, the classification of what good is. It's not impossible to keep the law, right? Yes, the leaders led Israel astray. Yes, they had them idol worshiping. But if you repented and you said sorry and you didn't do it again and you lived by the law of the Most High, he took care of you, right? And he acknowledged that you were all those things: good, righteous, upright, A, B, and C. Continuing. It's all about the heart posture, right? You own up to your mistakes. You continuously self-evaluate your heart and your life and just line it up with the will of Yah, right? Every single day you should be taking an accountability of yourself. And did I spend today in the best way? Did I hurt anybody? Could I have helped anybody? Did I sin against God? Did I sin against man? All these things. And you're just doing that continuously, and that's your life. You spend time in prayer, you sing a couple songs from your heart, genuinely, sincerely. You're reading Yah's word in depth to get the deeper meaning and the little secrets in there that he put in there for us to discover. That's what he wants from us. He wants us to walk humbly with him, just like Enoch did, right? I'm not here for the clicks, the money, the fame, the view, none of that, right? I just want people to know the truth. And the truth is we've all been deceived. Right? It's been so hidden. They put it right in your hand, but you don't even recognize it because they tell you to sit at Jesus' feet. They have you out here worshiping an idol, mentally trapped by making you scared of hell, and you won't even look in the Old Testament because you think the law is done away with or Jesus paid the price or whatever garbage they tell you in church, right? So I just want to bring this out. Bring it to Yah. You can look yourself. You can use the interlinear method on the Bible Hub app. That's what I use a lot to kind of help support what I do in my research. I also have a concordance. I also have, Hebrew books to kind of help me see some of the deeper meanings of the words. But it's not an unknowable thing. Great Basin National Park is Jerusalem. Y'all wouldn't have shown that to me. I'm a nobody. It took me 5 years to get out of public high school. What I'm saying. So he wouldn't have showed that to me if I wasn't doing what he said and looking for him with my whole heart, mind, and strength. And that's what's required of every one of us if we're going to realize this lie that we've been living in, going into these temples every single Sunday, right? Worshiping a guy that doesn't even exist. How do you think Yah is going to look at you in the end? I love you guys. It's the only reason I put this out there. I know it's not a popular opinion or theory or whatever other term you guys want to use when it comes to me, but it's the truth and it's the hard truth, and somebody needs to say it. I love you guys. Salah.